Hello, love bugs. This is my September review for the Boxyluxe. I can't talk on camera because I just had mouth surgery, but we gonna do what it do, make it happen. So this is my review on the Boxyluxe box that everybody was so hyped about, which wasn't as hyped. It didn't seem as awesome as everybody made it out to be, but it is what it is. So here we're starting with the Nightingale eyeshadow palette. I really liked it as far as like looking at it, but I was a little worried about it being conducive with my skin color. Yeah, so that cut me off. So yeah, it looked good on swatches, but it wasn't like, to me it took a lot to build up, and I love a good pigmented eyeshadow that doesn't take so much. Like, boom, I want it to look like it was hard work without it being hard work, if that makes sense. So here's a moisturizer. I really love this. I tried it last night. I put it on last night after I got out of the shower, and oh my gosh, it smells amazing, and it made my skin feel nice and supple. I love a good moisturizer. I'm a lotion girl. I don't do ashiness. I don't do dry skin. It drives me insane, just because, like, why you walking out the house looking like that? But anywho, let's move on. But the Boxyluxe, I felt like it was hyped up. It could have been better, but hey. So here's the Tarte Park Ave Chisel palette, which I feel should be. What I'm understanding about it is it's for contouring, highlight, or just adding some extra oomph to your face. I was a little disappointed that the darkest color on there was around my skin color, and I was hoping for something a little bit darker, just as far as if I'm going to use a chisel palette, I need some colors that are going to chisel me out. But it smells amazing. I do love the packaging. I do like what they did with it. It was just, I would have loved to see a more color variety. So here's a Laura Geller highlighter blush. I'm not really familiar with their company just yet. I'm still learning. I'm still a baby fledgling in all this. I always get pinks, so I wasn't really happy about getting a pink highlighter blush, just because I'm not a big fan of pink. So here is the dry shampoo, which for me, that's a no-go, just because I just don't use dry shampoo. I don't know many other African American women who do. I know I've emailed Boxyluxe. I've said stuff on Twitter as far as stuff that's more conducive to the African American community, but haven't really heard anything back. So here is the amazing smelling glow oil, I guess you can call it. And oh my gosh, I love how this does smell. I swear I sat there for like 5 minutes just sniffing it. I have issues, it's okay. So I love the way it felt. I know I watched a video that said that you can put in like your foundation, add an extra oomph to it. I did not do this in this video, but maybe next video I will, because it just smells so amazing. I gotta find a reason to use it, obviously. But I love the packaging. I love this company. I love the Bum Bum cream that they make, which also the skin firming cream that they make, which smells amazing. So I'm so happy with that. So here's a lippy. Like I said, with the the blush highlighter, I always get pinks or browns when it comes to the lippy. I was really hoping for the Hank and Henry. I'd love some good reds. I'm a red girl. Pink is just not my thing. I mean, I have to really be in an occasion or a mood for it. But it is what it is. So we will work it out. I just didn't really like it on my skin tone, so no, I did not use it. So, but yeah, when it comes to the lippies, it's just kind of a hit or miss. I would wish more for a hit than a miss, but beggars can't be choosers, and I would hope that they kind of like Boxycharm kind of learns in the future as far as products that are more conducive with women of color as far as the African American community is concerned. So here are the brushes. I really like the brushes. I use the blush brush more than I use the other ones. I just happen to have my go-tos, so it's just out of habit I grabbed my other ones. But I did use the blush brush. I did like how it blended and how soft it felt, and how just easily it glided onto my skin. It didn't really just drag my poor eyelids through the mud and trying to add some color to them. I love how festive they are. Makes me feel like doing a cha-cha with them. They just, I love the eyeshadow palette that came a few months ago. That was through the same company that made the brushes. So I was very happy with those. I'd like to hopefully see some more brushes from that company. Now the coconut primer water, I wasn't really jazzed about that, just because I'm like, okay, coconut primer water. I did expect for it to smell like a little something something. Maybe that's just the fat kid in me, I don't know, but I just really didn't get all the hype with it. If I would have had the choice of buying this in the store, probably wouldn't have bought it. just you know, it is what it is. But I did use it, and it was very lightweight, didn't feel heavy or weighed down. You know, my makeup didn't crease or anything. What usually happens with a lot of primers, they say, oh, you're no blemishes, none of that kind of stuff, but then all kind of stuff happens and you look like a broken cracked doll. But hey, of course, wearing my little bow, feeling all kind of young and inspired, and who doesn't like swag? I know I love me some swag. I really did enjoy getting the box and getting everything, and oh, of course, gotta get some baby loves in there. My fourth baby, my littlest one, she is adorable. She also has a death stare, so if you don't have food, watch out, because she will stare you down until you give it to her. So our little love session, and her playing with my makeup down there while mommy does the video. So as you can see, I already have my eyebrows done, and so I wanted to start with a good base color. So I'm using the brushes that were provided, and I'm noticing right off the bat with these palettes, it takes a while, to get the colors in. And so, I have a lot of blending, a lot of applying, a lot of blending, a lot of applying, So that part I wasn't really happy with. Like I said, I love a good pigment that looks like it was hard work, but really it wasn't. I love good pigmentation. So, and I was a little, like I said, worried about the colors being conducive with my skin tone and, and my undertones and my upper tones. If that's a word, I just made it up. What? Go me. So I was able to apply it, and I even did a cut crease, and it came out fairly nice. Just a lot of blending, and so I think, Boxycharm is an amazing company. I don't know they're just starting out, but they're still in the beginning stages of a lot of things, and and being inclusive to everyone. And I felt like, can we get some more black, I hate to say black owned, but I love Juvia's place. I love the bakery. Sorry if I'm getting that name wrong. I love their products, and I love their they're conducive with a lot of African American tones, and so I would like to see some of that stuff happening with Boxycharm, or maybe maybe the African American companies can come together and they make a box. Doing my little dance, because when it starts blending together, I like to have fun with life and not take life too serious. Here I am just trying to do a cut crease. Now this is my first time doing a cut crease. Yep, that's right. You guys get to see this blender in action. And it came out fairly nicely. I just used a regular Maybelline concealer. I was going to use my Fenty, but I didn't really want to ruin my stick with a brush. So I just applied a regular Maybelline, I believe it's Maybelline, concealer. And it dried pretty quick. It wasn't really tacky. And no, it didn't clump the makeup up. And everything was pretty decent. And it blended well. It blended pretty well. And that's the thing about concealer. Like, I remember back in the day, we were always taught to put concealer under your makeup to conceal. I have a lot of scars on my face. I have a lot of things on my face just from growing up in foster care. And so I used to want to always conceal my scars and stuff, but it came out pretty nice. I really liked it, and it wasn't too heavy on my lids. I patted it down with a little bit of powder just to kind of set it just a little bit, and it wasn't a colored powder, so it wasn't too bad. And I did apply the shimmery color. I don't have my palette in front of me, I'm sorry. But I did like just, just pat it on. Didn't have to really rub it in. It kind of stuck pretty well. There wasn't a lot of fallout, which I did like. There was a lot, on a few of the colors there was fallout, but wasn't a lot. So here I'm using one of my Anastasia brushes just because it's one of my go-tos, and I love, I wanted to add a little bit of depth to the cut crease. I'm sorry, blend. But I also wanted to be able to blend because, and plus with it being a fresh brush, it helps blend those colors together. I do like that blue, and I use that brown, and it was browns and golds and blues, and I love that color palette. And so I was able to just bring a unused brush in and just blend everything together and get it popping. Get them eyes looking good. It's like a snack. So I'm just blending and kind of just getting everything kind of put together. I did use a little highlight color in the corner of my eye to kind of just add that depth to it, dark to light or light to dark. And I feel like it came together pretty good. It's not normal colors that I would normally use. I feel like they're a lot more smokier than the vibrance. I'm trying to branch out and use more colors. I felt like these were very smoky, but it really worked itself, putting some highlighter under the arches of my brow to kind of accentuate my eyebrows. So I can't complain too much. So here, my eyes are done, and I'm like, okay, I got my eyelashes on, which also came in one of those I think it's a party Boxyluxe that came with that very light, bright neon colors that are just not really, I'm not about that life. I ain't there yet. I like stuff to look very natural, or if not natural, I like it to, like, I don't want to say subtle, but you know what I'm saying. I want to branch out, just not that far. For my foundation, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked. I love Urban Decay Naked. They are like, that's my swan song. They're my folks. Like, if I could camp out at their company, I totally would. Shout out to Urban Decay. And I always love, got to put the foundation down the neck. A lot of people just stop at the chin, and I'm chunky, so it's like I got to blend stuff in and chisel stuff out. And it just goes on so easily, and it doesn't take a lot of work. And I just love how it, I use, like I said, regular concealer. I do use Fenty, but for this product, for this post, I wanted to try out the Maybelline to see how well it does. Now, as you can see, I have vitiligo on one side of my face. It did used to go down a lot further, but it's kind of receded a little bit, which is good. So I kind of have to work a little bit harder on matching everything, and I don't want to go too heavy with the concealer. So I kind of just dab it in rather than streak it, because one thing I remember growing up, we were taught, never smudge concealer, just dab, dab, dab. And so just dabbing it in and blending it in with a mini blender sponge, and just really getting it in there. And then one trick I was taught, like if you feel like you have too much highlighter under your eyes, go back in with the beauty blender that already has your foundation on it, and just go around and just kind of blend in those lines so it doesn't look so harsh, so it looks more like a natural progression of the color on your face. And that works pretty well for me. I know sometimes I might get a little too hype and put too much on. And I have a button nose. I don't have a really strong nasal arch, so I do want to bring a little attention to my nose. I do want it to, to appear slimmer without being slimmer. I ain't got no Michael Jackson issues. I love my nose. My nose is beautiful. I just like to kind of pull out the arch, so I feel like by highlighting my arch of my nose, it draws it out instead of just the bulbous of my nose. And here I'm just using the Fenty contour sticks, which I love Fenty. Shout out to Rihanna, you are amazing. And I know this is weird, I did put a little bit of highlighter near my jaw, just because I am chunky. I, love have hip styles and don't discriminate against paws. No shame in my game. So and my face is pointed. I don't have a square jaw, and so I also, like you say, highlight the things you want to bring to attention and darken things that you want to hide. So I want to bring attention to my jaw without bringing so much attention to my jaw. And a lot of that takes a lot of blending, a lot of contouring, and just blending those colors together. So I do contour, but then over the contour, I always apply like a very thin layer of a light brown that's in my contour palette, which is in my Sephora palette, and it just helps blend it all together without it looking so harsh, because I'm just not a fan of harsh contour. My saving grace is I have a couple scars that go where my dark contour would actually go, so it's kind of like my guideline. So God knew what he was doing. Shot a lot. I see you, God. I see you. So I'm just blending everything together and getting it looking snatched. Again, I love the smell of that chisel palette. I tried the contour and it just didn't really work out very well as far as coloring goes. I'm using my Sephora contour brush that my husband got me for Valentine's Day. Yay, hubby. Shout out to my man. Anywho, and just blending everything in and getting it looking snatched. And I don't use setting powder. I just use like a foundation or my contour palette, or I use the Kat Von D contour palette, and I'll just set that on there, and to me it gives me the same effect as baking. Like I said, I'm still practicing. I'm still new at this, so maybe it is baking, set in the face, but it works well. It works wonders for me.
Hit the club in the Bluetooth seater, looking like a finna cock a 9mm. Get out with my high heel pumps, twisting my ass 'cause I know what guys want. Licking my lips like I'm taking him home, teasing and teasing, I'm